I know. This review is going up a lot later than it usually does because I try to get this around like 12, midnight-ish on my side, which is EST, Eastern Standard Time. But obviously there was a Talking Dead special, and I just wanted to listen to it, see what the two main actors and what the executive producer had to say, and they said some interesting stuff that I actually never thought about when looking at the show of Fear the Walking Dead. So there's that. I should also mention that there is a special, I guess, or web series essentially called The Walking. Is it called The Walking Dead Flight 462? I believe where essentially it's what happens when a infected or a walker, well, it's more or less infected at this point, is on a plane, and how does like the people on the plane deal with somebody with the infected on the plane due to the fact it's a plane, you're close quarters, you don't essentially have a way to get the person out. People are gonna freak out. Oh, it spreads by air, stuff like that. So it's interesting because the first episode is out right now, and you could watch it on AMC YouTube or AMC's YouTube channel, which if I'm pretty sure it's region logged, so if you're in the States you should be able to watch it, but check for mirrors, stuff like that. If you go to the Walking Dead subreddit, I'm pretty sure someone will put a mirror up for you lovely people that are outside the United States. And yeah, it's a minute long, and it's supposed to spread out for the next 16 weeks. So I don't think I'm going to do a review like week to week, like as it comes out, because it would be a waste of both my time and your time. And so yeah, but you never know. I might just shoehorn in as an intro thing, and then talk about the actual episode of The Walking Dead, because that starts up next week. I cannot speak today. I'm sorry, but yeah. So I might just put it as an intro. Play my little intro animation, and then talk about the Walking Dead episode. But who knows? I don't know how I'm gonna do it yet exactly. But like I said, I did see the first episode, and it's not bad. It's just that I think you're going to have to watch it in order to understand Fear the Walking Dead season 2, because if you don't know, a member of Flight 462 is going to appear and affect the story of Fear the Walking Dead season 2, which if you haven't heard, Fear the Walking Dead has gotten a season 2, which is awesome because actually it's not that bad of a series. But let's talk about it in this episode. I gotta say, I did enjoy this episode a lot because the executive producer was talking about it, and he said that it was a first for a lot of things. Because in this episode, we see our first herd. I was gonna say horde, but that's not the right terminology. We see our first herd of walkers, and we just see them, coming and coming. Because Salazar, I keep on adding an extra S. Thank you for correcting me. So we see Salazar, he opens up the gates and lets every walker out. Now, a cool thing is that, obviously Rick's group calls them walkers, and, everyone they have ran into has caused them a different thing, like biters, or, I think the other term in the game is called junkies, something along the lines of that. And then the executive producer and Robert Kirkman, who are working on Fear the Walking Dead, said they're going to get their own terminology for the infected, or whatever they're going to be called now. But not only did we get our first herd, but we also got our first major character death in that of Liza, and that being Travis's wife, Chris's mom, and it sucks because obviously people are going to die, and she was the first to go, and I was starting to like her, even though she did kind of set things up in like a few episodes ago, but things happen. Like when she got like trapped down, I was like, oh, she's totally bitten, isn't she? I was like, every time. And what's interesting is that, Travis, I've been giving him a lot of crap, though he kind of deserves it. But, there's something I realized that I haven't actually realized in my other reviews, when talking about it, is that, Salazar, he represents, he's kind of like Rick at this point, where he understands what needs to be done, and he does it. He doesn't, hesitate. If he needs to kill somebody, off they go. And then on the other end of the spectrum is freaking Travis, where he still believes in the good of humanity. He has a morality scale, and yeah, he has that. And we see in this episode, he essentially doesn't, he breaks, but I feel like he's gonna come back together because he's not fully broken yet. Because we see that Andy, who is the soldier that Ophelia was having a thing with, he comes back after Travis's he sets them free and is like, you can go. I'm setting you free. You're free to go. Don't come back. Do what you need to do. Stuff like that. And then he comes back and wants to kill Salazar. He doesn't even kill Salazar. He shoots Ophelia, and then that essentially makes Travis break. Now, what's interesting is that in the Talking Dead special, the executive producer, no, the actor who plays Travis was talking about how, he made a promise with, the soldier, Andy and Travis made a promise with one another that he wouldn't come back, or, stuff like that. And, Andy broke it. That's what made Travis break, and just like start beating the crap out of him, which I enjoyed. I was like, yes, do it. But then Madison's like, all right, Travis, that's enough. And I was hoping, she'll say, let him turn, but I guess they don't really know that if, you turn right away, stuff like that, because they don't have that information until Liza tells them, and then, Liza tells them, and then she dies, which, gets rid of the medic of the team, which, that's gonna suck. No, seriously, that's gonna suck, especially if they're going on that boat. Man, that's gonna suck. And the other thing is that right before Travis interrupted Madison's and Liza's conversation is that, Liza and Madison were talking about what they talked about before, is that if any of them ever get affected, the other one's going to take the other one out, so Travis doesn't have to do it because it's going to break Travis. And you know what Travis does? He does it. He literally kills Liza, and I guess, like I said, it breaks him at that moment, but he's going to come back because he's not fully broken yet. But the thing is, what was Travis's goal during this whole 6 episodes, even before the 6 episodes? It was to try to blend his two families together and keep them safe, and he couldn't even do that. So it's definitely gonna be interesting to see if if Travis really will break the next time we see him, or he won't break. That depends. Part of me hopes that he kind of stays like how he is, somewhat pacifist. But when he needs to pass a fist, he's good to go. So I'm going to stop giving Travis crap because I truly understand his character now, and to see him evolve and do the things that he did in this episode is nice and dandy. Because I loved how he literally made he had either two decisions, kind of like Until Dawn, the Walking Dead games, is where he had the choice of either letting Andy go or keeping Andy and following Salazar's plan. And he chose to let Andy go, therefore causing, Ophelia to get shot in the arm, which, thank goodness it was the arm. I thought she actually died. I thought if she actually died, it would have been, I was like, oh, there's a character death, and oh no. What I like about Fear the Walking Dead right now is that you see, what's going to be the person's, our character's breaking points on, how things are going to go down and stuff like that. And, seeing them make decisions that our group of characters that we know and love won't make anymore because they've seen most of humanity and how it has sunken so low. Alright, I've been talking about Travis enough. Let's move on to Madison. Now Madison, I actually didn't notice this, but she has a southern accent. Now I wouldn't have noticed it if the executive producers didn't point it out, but she does have a southern accent. And thing is, I believe Lori has a sister in the comic continuity, and she might have one in the show continuity as well. If not that, Rick, I know he definitely has a brother. Rick definitely has a blood brother, and yeah, who knows? They could always change it to the sister. We don't know what happens, stuff like that. And just talking about Madison's character after these 6 episodes, I enjoyed her character. She's on the Talking Dead, they were making their relation who's Rick, who's Shane, or who's what character in comparison sakes. And they said Travis is kind of like Rick, how Rick went through his descent into craziness and dictatorship and all that whatnot. And they were talking about how people were talking about how Madison is supposed to be Rick, but they were like, nope, hang on, let's think about it. And how Madison's actually kind of like Shane. But thing is, it's if she is supposed to be like Shane, where they understand from the get-go what needs to get done, I'm cool with that, because I feel like Madison won't go freaking crazy, because that's what happened with Shane, and that's essentially what got him killed, is that he went bonkers, and Madison is like Shane, but without the crazy part, and she's in a relationship with Travis, so there's that. And then there's Alicia and Chris this episode. I believe his name is the Joker, commented on my last review talking about how they showed them Alicia and Chris having sexual tension with one another, being a purpose, having a purpose for who knows what. And if it does, I swear to God, if it leads to Chris and Alicia banging, and then Alicia gets pregnant, and she's like, teenage pregnancy. Oh no! What if the baby becomes like a walker and starts eating me out from the inside and stuff like that? It's gonna be so stupid. Ooh, I don't want that to happen because I just don't want to deal with that. That's the thing. Like, I rather deal with other stuff. Speaking of Alicia and Chris, how did they get away from the army? Like, Chris, I got, they could have just left him there. But what about Alicia? Like, they were, like, on the verge of be like, hey, baby, you want to come? And, obviously take her, rape her, do the dark things that men do when they're pushed to the extremes. And, like, how did she get out of that situation? She literally just walked out of the door when everyone was there. It was like, how did you get there? Did you, like, use magic or something? You were like, haha, you can just take the car. I'm just going to take him over here and, stuff like that. And, speaking of the army, I just felt like they were underutilized. They could have been really cool, if they weren't, like, super cliche, evil and stuff like that. I mean, they were pretty cool last episode, I believe it was. But, they just kind of, fade into the background and just kind of just, like, faded away. It's just like they just like, what happened? And hopefully moving on to my final point is that the most interesting black guy in the world has a name, and his name is Stride, which he's kind of suspicious. I'm not gonna lie, he's definitely suspicious. I feel like he's friendly, but I just feel like he's suspicious at the same time. But yeah, he owns a boat. He has a nice house, stuff like that. And it's gonna be interesting if like how they will get to the boat, because the boat looked like it was little bits away, and I don't think like Stride has like a bunch of like what's it called, jet skis to get over there really quick, especially if you're gonna carry supplies as well. And first off, was the boat just like hanging there, or was like did someone set it off? These are the questions that I have, but it's definitely going to be interesting. The one thing I don't get is that, like, Stride, when he was packing like a bunch of fancy clothes. I don't think you want fancy clothes when, in the zombie apocalypse. You want clothes that has multiple uses. Like, it could be layers, so you don't get bit all the way down. If a walker tries to bite you, it could be comfortable when you're running. It's comfortable when you're, like, stabbing stuff, stuff like that. No, he was just, getting a bunch of, like, button-up shirts, I guess suits, ties. I don't know why, but, I guess it's just him being Stride. But my overall thought on the finale is that I enjoyed it. I would probably, watch it again at one point. Though I'll probably only watch certain scenes, kind of like how I do with The Walking Dead and usual. Is like I go back and watch the season 4 finale where where Rick bites the dude jugular off, and then I just rewatched the premiere of season 5 because it's up on Netflix, in where Carol saves the day, and then episode 3 where Rick and company beat the hell out of Gareth and them. But yeah, I'll probably go back and rewatch this eventually. Probably like just to watch Travis beating the crap out of Andy, because that was actually pretty enjoyable. And yeah, overall I thought it was great. Probably my favorite scene is not only Travis beating the crap out of Andy, but is probably Liza's death. Like the whole conversation between her and Madison, I thought it was well done. Congrats to the actresses for doing such an amazing job in conveying a very emotional scene, stuff like that. And yeah, it was truly enjoyable. I definitely enjoyed this finale for what it was, because it definitely wasn't perfect. Like I said, the whole Alicia and Chris thing, how they get out of that situation, I have no idea. But moving on to my thoughts on like the entire season in whole. But my overall thoughts on the season as a whole is that it was definitely pretty good. It wasn't the best it could be, I feel like, but then again, they have to, see what works and what doesn't work. So it's okay, because, they got renewed for a second season, and then we're going to, hopefully it plays out a lot better than this first season. Because this first season, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like Better Call Saul, like, spin-off show worthy goodness. Because if there's anything, this show is definitely getting there. It's like getting started, right? We're getting more characters that are memorable, like Salazar, Madison, Nick, Stride. They're definitely becoming much better, and not relatable, but like fan rooting a bull. I just made up a word, but you know what? I'm hoping you guys get what I'm saying. And not only that, but it's being different from The Walking Dead. If they went east, it would have been, here's this one location, let's make a pit stop, stay there. This bad guy calls himself the mayor, comes out of nowhere, starts, causing a war, stuff like that. If that happened, I'll be like, oh, this is just like season 3 of The Walking Dead all over again. But it isn't. They're going west onto the boat, and it's interesting, and I actually enjoy that part because, if you played the Telltale's Walking Dead game, small spoilers is that one of the characters wants to find a boat. Not, no one owns a boat. They want to find a boat and go to the sea, and by the end, they can't do that because it just doesn't end up happening. But overall, it was watchable, and then it got really enjoyable, which I do like, and it brought up aspects of the Walking Dead universe that we usually don't get to see. If you read the comics, you don't really get to see certain aspects, and if you've watched The Walking Dead, some of it you don't get to see. But Fear the Walking Dead, it's definitely, I'll give it my thumb of approval of watching it and enjoying it. But yeah, I know it's a long video. I apologize. There's a lot to talk about, and I just hope that you guys enjoyed this review, enjoyed all my previous reviews, and hopefully you enjoy my future reviews because obviously Walking Dead starts back up next week. But yeah, thanks for watching. If anything, let me know what you guys thought of the season, this finale, down in the comments below. And I guess I'll see you guys all next week for The Walking Dead. So until then, bye-bye.